Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is SAEM's Got Talent, which is our big foam ed showcase of the conference. This is actually, this is great. I'm glad you guys are here. There's also a live stream on the SAEM Facebook page right now. So people are going to be watching from all over. And if you've got folks who might be interested in voting, feel free to text them to log on to the SAEM Facebook page, watch it live stream, and then they can actually vote via Twitter. We'll talk about that in just a second. So this is our showcase of the best innovations in foam ed. We've got 4 really great presenters out of a bunch of folks who applied. And so we're going to go through these 4 presentations. We've got a really great panel of judges, too. My name's Ali Raja. I'm one of the SAEM board members, or was up until yesterday. And we've got 3 really great judges who are experts in the area of foam ed, who are going to introduce themselves right before we get started. After that, I'll introduce each of the 4 presenters. They'll come onto stage, they'll do their thing, and you're going to get to vote. We're going to have 3 different ways of voting. One is going to be via Twitter. So at about 3:15, the Twitter poll is going to open up. Go to the SAEM Twitter page. You'll be able to vote there. We're all going to be retweeting it, so it'll just pop up at the top of your feed if you just open up Twitter. The other way is for the live audience. We're going to have a show of hands. And so for those of you in the room, old school, who aren't on Twitter, aren't on Snapchat, aren't on Insta, you're going to be able to raise your hand and vote too. And then number 3, the judges up here on the stage are going to confer and vote as well. All right, let's get things rolling, but before that, we'll do some judge introductions.
I am Jeff Hill. I'm the creator and one of the editors of tamingtheshrew.com.
My name is LaFollette. I'm the chair of the social media committee here at SAEM, and I help run Taming the Shrew with Jeff Hill.
Hi, I'm Seth Trueger. I'm faculty at Northwestern and also digital media editor at JAMA Network Open. I help run the Northwestern University Emergency Medicine resident blog, and I'm on Twitter at MDAware.
All right, to start us off, we're going to have Carlos Rodriguez, who is the medical education fellow at Thomas Jefferson University, and who, by the way, just told me that he's also going to be staying on at Jeff as faculty. So congratulations very, very much. Well done. Thank you. Dr. Rodriguez, the mic's all yours.
All right. Thank you so much for being here, all 5 or 6 of you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and present our work. Like Ali said, my name is Carlos Rodriguez, one of the education fellows at Thomas Jefferson University. This is all foam ed inspired, so obviously Twitter has to be a part of this. There's my Twitter handle, so feel free to vote a couple hundred times. And what we're going to be talking about quickly is Morning Report 2.0 and our attempt to resurrect the dying art. Like we know at Jefferson, and maybe many of you know out there in the med-ed world, Morning Report is something that we have attempted and have tried to reinvent over and over again. But it's sort of a dying art. You have many barriers to it. You have shift change. You have people that are tired, people that don't come in, people that don't pay attention. And we were trying to find a way to reinvigorate or resurrect this at our shop at Jefferson. The other thing that we wanted to try to do is try to combat some of the barriers that we have. This is just like a general representation of like the residents that we have. We have roughly 36 residents in our program. At any given time during Morning Report or during our morning sessions, we have maybe 8 of them, 4 of them that are coming from overnight shifts. They're all half asleep and not paying attention to when we're doing our Morning Report. So there's a lack of content absorption in that situation. Also, with 4 or 5 residents being there, there's a lack of content dissemination, which we thought was a missed opportunity from this content that is being discussed during Morning Report. So one of the things that we also wanted to do was to take our residents from being just purely consumers of open access medical education to being more creators of open access medical education, because it's pertinent to our times, it's easy to create, it's easy to disseminate, so why not just have them be a part of that too. One of the ways that we wanted to do this was to use Bloom's digital taxonomy, and we wanted to focus on the higher order thinking skills up here with creating, evaluating, and analyzing. And if you can take a look at this, blogging is at the top part of it. You have grading, you have mind mapping, surveying. Obviously, you have posting, which is very pertinent as well to what we're doing here today. So we wanted to create a blog, basically using both experiential learning and reflective learning. Experiential learning is basically using your experiences to create learning, and reflective learning, you reflect on that stuff that you have learned. So the way we do it is we take a case from overnight the night before, we use that experience and reflect on it, we discuss it during morning report, and then we create content that we can disseminate. So the way we did that was using our already existing Jefferson Emergency Medicine website. We use WordPress, which is free and easy to use. We have one of our interns just revamp the website, so we just added another section to it. And we wanted to create a content in a way that was easy to create, easy to use, easy to read, and easy to consume for people. And we chose PictoChart. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but this basically takes any content that you want, and instead of creating just a blog post just full of text, you can create an infographic, which is a lot easier, a lot more fun to create, and a lot easier and a lot more fun to read and learn from. So this is just an example of one of the blog posts that we have. I'll just kind of like go over it. And then the whole point of the infographic is that you have kind of like a sequence of events that you go from the top and you like build up to it all the way to the end. So here, for example, we have an infographic on anaphylaxis. So we have a couple of sections, including the title up here. Went away. It's gone. There you go. And then we have the authors, obviously, because we want to give credit to the people that are doing it. Here we have one of our medical students, one of our MS4s, and one of our senior residents that helped create this infographic. We have a little area in which we can introduce the case that we talked about the night before, so we can use that as a vehicle to talk about the topic that we're going to discuss, which is anaphylaxis. Also, we have different sections, and obviously this gives the creator of the content just like free access or free reign to just create this however they want. But in this situation, we had signs and symptoms of anaphylaxis. We have different ways that you can diagnose it, different diagnostic criteria. And then this also gives you the opportunity to have little tips that you can have and insert it in a given time. You can have a management section. You can change the order. You can change the color. You can change, how you're going to deliver that content based on your audience. And then at the bottom, we have a case resolution. And of course, we have references because we want to be evidence-based in a lot of these things that we do. Now we're going to go over, this is just like a quick video. There's no audio here. Just kind of like highlighting. This is like a video of the website. We have the website. We have the blog / morning report at the top right. You click in, and then you go right in. I'm not sure why it's doing that. And then you can access each one of our posts right on their website. Another one of the videos that we have here is we have like a cool search function. So if you don't want to go through like all the hassle of going through all of them to see which one you want, you remember that they did an infographic on anaphylaxis. You type in anaphylaxis in the search bar. It takes you right in to the infographic that you want to see. And finally, because this is, hashtag, Twitter, Facebook, and all that stuff, we created a cool way that we can just share. Hold on, one more. Yep, there we go. We can share these infographics and these posts right from our website. So if you see something that's cool, you want to share it, you want to share it with your colleagues or friends, you can just right there share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter. The email function is a little wonky because it opens like your computer's native email source or email app, but at least if you want to do it on Twitter, do it on Facebook. It's pretty easy to share, pretty easy to disseminate if you like the content, if you want to share it with those around you. This is just a couple of examples of the infographics that we have created so far. We have 5 of them. We're proud of all of them. Some of them are from our morning report content. Some of them residents have come forward and said that they want to just create something and just have it here so that they can both learn from the creation of it and also share that knowledge with their peers. So we're having fun with that. So that's all I have for now. Thank you so much for your help. Not for your help because you haven't helped, but thank you so much for your attention. And you can help me by voting, Twitter, and all the other ways. Thank you so much.
All right, Dr. Rodriguez, thank you very much. we're going to wait. We're going to have the second presenter come on up, but in the meantime, we've got 2 minutes of comments from our esteemed judges.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rodriguez. I think it's a really great concept to take, obviously, case-based approach to this, because that's one of the things that makes Morning Report so engaging is that it's based on real-life cases, and it can really help, learners kind of scaffold their new knowledge on things that they've seen recently, and also like having the residents be the ones that are the primary initiators for the content. Is obviously a lot of the learning comes from the development of the content and creation of it, and so I think that's really excellent.
Yeah, I think you were able to hit on a particular niche, which I think is hard, especially in a residency-driven blog, and really having that infographic, but still maintaining the rigor of keeping the references in there and keeping a pure editing structure, I think is key.
Yeah, I think in addition to all those great points, I think one of the things that stood out to me is how this is kind of the classic foam model of taking work the residents are already doing, and instead of just sharing it with a handful of people who were in the room at the time, putting it in a format where it's clean and nice, can be broadcast to the world. So great work.
All right, nicely done. Next, we have Dr. Cleavon Gilman, who is a third-year resident at the NYP Columbia Cornell program out in New York City. And he is going to present to us Cleavon, MD.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let me log in real quick. All right, y'all. Thank you for having me here. I'm a third year at NYP, and I rhyme about topics in EM, which include rashes, bones, bradycardia, basically anything you think of, I can actually rhyme about it. Just as a background, I grew up with a speech impediment. However, when I rhyme, I don't have any troubles. So I like to flow, like, get my flow on and just kind of get things up and moving. There are 4 reasons why music is great to teach. One is it helps us recall a knowledge based upon cues. 2, it incorporates various learning styles as well, including auditory, visual, reading, and then movement as well. And then 3, it's increased enjoyment. And then hopefully increased enjoyment leads to residents revisiting the lecture content. So I'm going to just play a montage of a few of my tracks here. It's going to begin with rashes, and then we'll talk about some bones, and then after that we'll talk about like macular papular rashes and bradycardia. Okay, so here's a sample, y'all. Clonidine head ICP, colon esterase poisoning. Old age and vapor oxygen infection, drug stop or there they get cold, Brady. Clonidine head ICP, colon esterase poisoning. Oxygen infection, drug stop or there. Disease on the pinky, haymate, incapitate, trapezoid, points to scaphoid, that away. Disease on the pinky, haymate, incapitate, trapezoid, points to scaphoid, that away. Started on his hairline. The next day, his face was covered. I'd be remiss too if I didn't warn you. Ear infections or pneumonia. When it lurks and occurs as encephalitis, it's a vast contagion. So return in 6 months for your vaccination. Pubis, so it's cut that you really know. That's terrible, but genitals also have genital femoral. Within the thigh, because it's flexible, makes it more accessible, therefore compressible. Myalgia peristhetica, that's the lateral femoral cutaneous. Now 2 and 3 had a mold in making it. L to the 4 major, femoral and obturator. Obturators in the thigh about the size of a hot potato. In the thighs medial, the last one is saphenous. From the knee to the distal calf, and it proceeds to the inner arch after this. And sciaticus, perineal and tibial wrapped within. Peroneal branches behind the knee, and laterally from tibialis, finally the air to your space of feet, tibial nerves, outcast, suva, and soleus, because the soleus. Perineum and So Caesar wrist, man's age up to the 5, he stayed away. Then it came, he stepped in, that's tonic. Once finished for minutes, once rhythmic, that's chronic. 15 or less, they effervescent. Will be complex, hold up, that's vocal, video EEG, CECT, and maybe an LP. Let's keep it simple, Motrin and Tylenol. It's the last one. It's right there, here we go. 5% real progress. Honest, that's partially complex. All right, y'all, thank you very much.
I don't even know what to say, which is why I don't even know what to say, which is why I'm glad we got these 3 judges here. So, guys, what are your comments?
Well, that's awesome, man. I mean, you have an exceptional talent, and not only like are you obviously great at the rapping and the rhyming, but the quality of the visual presentation really does enhance the auditory. It doesn't distract from it. It's really well done.
Yeah, I mean, you really demonstrate the other side of FOAM-Ed very well. Not literature dissemination, but truly the audience that you can affect through that is much, much broader. And each of those could have been infographics in themselves in the summary, but you break it down incredibly well. I can't imagine how long that took. Well done.
Yeah, I think these are just fantastic. I really liked at the beginning how you talked about how this isn't just a goal to be the end-all be-all resource, but to drive people to go back to the primary literature, the textbooks, the foundation for what the foam can accent. And I think just the way that you can really drive interest with this kind of entertainment value to it without it being like hokey or anything like that is great. I thought some of the rhymes are just so creative and great, and I think some of that stuff's going to stick with you. I'm going to end with a quote that a lot of people throw around a lot with this stuff, which I'm sure many of you have heard, but anyone who tries to make a distinction between education and entertainment doesn't know the first thing about either.
Nice. Next, we have Dr. Blake Briggs. Dr. Briggs is a resident at the Wake Forest program and a self-proclaimed enemy of saline, is what I hear. Awesome. Fantastic. And he is going to tell us all about EM Board Bombs, which is a podcast and website. You've got a mic, and you've got a clicker. Yeah, you're welcome, of course.
So yes, I am a sworn enemy of normal saline. House of Ringer's lactate, 100% all the way. So we're going to be talking about EM board bombs today. Quick shout out to Iltafat Hussein here in the crowd. He is the co-founder, co-host with me for this podcast we started. Just a quick intro here. Gives me goosebumps every time. Every time. So we're going to be talking about EM Board Bombs, which is a podcast venture, and just in summary of it, it is a 10-15-minute episode, efficient, rapid foam novel curriculum. And the way we started this was last year in July 2018 when Dr. Hussein approached me at Wake Forest and said, hey, you know, board review sucks, and it does, and why don't we do something more exciting for board review? Why don't we make it fast, efficient, high yield, and cover classic stems for emergency medicine, and really just medicine in general. We don't have to just cover just emergency doctors. I mean, not many other specialties have a rapid, efficient form of board review. And that was our thought. And so we deliver high yield EM content through EM board bombs. And the concept of kind of revolving around EM board bombs was basically our thought of what we love most about emergency medicine, which is, you know, when you think about the best way of learning, which I do, which is on-shift teaching. You know, you always hearken back to the concepts you learn the most of those quick, high-yield topics that you learn on shift. On-shift teaching, high-yield info, less than 15-minute topics, and it's entertaining, right? You're learning directly face-to-face with somebody. It's unscripted. And that's what I like to harken back on what EM Board Bombs is this unscripted form of teaching, unscripted form of novel curriculum. And, you know, a quick kind of flashback here to your time in traditional medical education. Sorry if I'm inducing any PTSD from this massive, ugly red carpet lecture hall or whatever. Oh, it's blue, excuse me. I'm colorblind. But mandatory lectures, 4 hours a day, multiple times a week, deaf by PowerPoint, as we're doing right now, unfortunately, but it's only 7 minutes, not an hour. And notes on notes on notes on notes on notes, and textbooks and brute memorization. It was actually funny. For some reason, I'm a big Mac person, so I have all my photos still from like college for some weird reason. And I found this photo. This is just one semester in one class of first year of medical school. I also found a banana. I kept the banana. And I threw away all the other stuff. I actually recycled it. But it went to the dump in an IKEA bag. And this is all just one semester of medical school, first semester. Do you think I remember any of this stuff today? Because it wasn't delivered in an efficient foam novel curriculum form. And the point I'm trying to make is that education's changing in medicine, and we all know that. But I feel like we need to make bigger strides to that area, especially if we want to recruit younger future doctors. And we're in the podcast age now, and that's what Dr. Hussein and I have really kind of promoted, which is this basically form of quick, rapid topics, and that's because like 25% of the country listens to podcasts, and these are all stats from Nielsen and Edison Research Committee based on not only television statistic, but radio and podcasts and web-based media, and they basically surveyed podcast users, and this is general, not just medical stuff. And we basically found that like a quarter of the country listens to podcasts monthly, which is enormous, and that's up from about 10% as of 2000. And we also found that they're mostly smartphone users, meaning they're on the go. Most of them are going to be Apple users, and it's going to be very convenient for these people to listen to podcasts. I can't ever figure out where to point this clicker. So 94% of our podcast listeners are going to be on social media as well, which we kind of guessed, but that stat is heavy. I mean, that is just a form of not only just kind of a circle of PR. You're putting your stuff out there, you're also getting returns on that as well. And most people are on the go as they listened, as I said earlier. Another stat on here, sorry to click forward. Another stat on here that I didn't put on here is that they're very loyal podcast listeners. Like 80% of them or so will listen to a new episode every week. And so that is really a big point here. So moving on with kind of what EM Board Bombs is and what we do. The benefits to the learner are clear. Podcast is kind of the new form of novel education for most people, rapid review of stuff. And that's what Dr. Hussein and I did, and that's enter EM Board Bombs. And EM Board Bombs is going to be ridiculous as possible in terms of our stems. You know, when we were actually recording, we prefer not to use a script. We just sit down, we have a question, and instead of just that classic, person fell off the bike and landed on their outstretched hand, they have a scaphoid fracture, we turned it into a Game of Thrones reference with Daenerys, mother of dragons, who fell off a dragon and had a scaphoid fracture. And then she went to the local ER, run by Jon Snow. And so we also thought of even funnier stems, like for Harry Potter, we thought Status Epilepticus was a form of a Harry Potter spell, so our podcast title was Wingardium Leviosa and Status. And we were really kind of going on the theme of this doesn't have to be boring. This can be exciting, this can be entertaining. We made Lord of the Rings references, Star Trek, Star Wars references, as you can see here, and all built around the fact that the form of foam novel curriculum can be as novel and can be as entertaining, outrageous as possible. And that was kind of our point. And since then, we've produced over 45 episodes, which can be found on our website, which I'll show you in a second. We have study guides as well for medical students, for new people beginning in emergency medicine and medicine in general. These have been a huge hit, and I'll show you everything right now. So this is kind of a preview of our website. You can go here. We have all the links to Spotify, iTunes, Twitter, Google Play as well, if you use Android. There wasn't any hate in that. You can use Android. It's okay, I guess. But more of an Apple person. So podcasts, you can also stream live on our website here, which you can see there. We have all 45 episodes, and kind of the point as we kind of move forward is that everything is always going to be free, and that's kind of, of course, harken back to foam education, but we want this to always be free, open access to everyone that uses it no matter what. These are our handouts that we like to use. We like to think of funny topic names. These are all just the pictures of all the handouts we use, and the key of these handouts, it's not supposed to be make you an expert on this topic kind of handout. If you have that, you have many other resources like textbooks and up-to-date to go to. Our point is to make you an amateur at this. Like if you know nothing about it and you're going to a shift or a room with the patient, why not have a one-page guide review? So we have topics like Wingardium Leviosa, I already talked about in status in the bottom left. One of my favorite ones that it took me way too long to work on was Hepatic Hell in the top right, starring the liver as the liver. And he has a pistol, if you can't see it, loaded with N-acetylcysteine bullets. We also have Instagram as well. No, this is one of our handouts, sorry. Very mature topic name. And this is kind of a sample of our handout, which is going to be our one-page guide. And this is, again, just one page, and our references are on the second page. Instagram here with our funny, sometimes comical work-related posts. And use of social media is my last two slides here. The use of social media is huge for referrals. It allows us to really question posting, comical work, and work-related experience. Our podcast is growing. We're hoping to get more guest speakers, expanding the team, more direct social media teaching. Since July of last year, we have over 8,000 visitors a month to this website, subscribing to our podcast, downloading our handouts. We've had people as far out as I had to look up where some of these countries were and some of these states were that are downloading on our IS feeds. But it's really remarkable. We're really happy with it. So really encourage you to check out EM Board Bombs, and I really appreciate your time today talking about it. It really is an honor to be here with so many talented people, and it really is a pleasure to talk to you. So thank you again. Appreciate it.
Judges.
Thanks a lot. This is, I think, a good example of kind of trying to go to where the learners are. And a lot of the learners certainly are on podcasts. And you have a really nice, really diverse set of ways that learners can approach the content, which is extremely important because everybody sort of has their own preference of how they interact with technology. So.
Yeah, and I think the written reviews are key, especially when you're spitballing, especially when you can engage your audience and bring them in, but then follow it up so nicely with a written summary, which they can go back to on shift.
Yeah, that kind of multimodal approach is really nice where you can get the 10 to 15 minute podcast, but then have the written summary to hit back asynchronously later. I really think just the level of focus is so nice. Having a 10 to 15 minute podcast is fantastic. The videos that I do are really hard to keep under half an hour, so I appreciate how hard it is to get that kind of focus. And then to be able to get the summary topics into one page plus references is just a really, really great goal. And it seems like you're able to achieve that. Great job.
Nice work. All right, last but not least, we have Dr. Nicholas Kman from The Ohio State University, who is going to talk to us all about the use of virtual reality in mass casualty incidents.
All right, thank you. I too want to say how honored I am to be in the same session as all these other fine presenters. I actually did my residency at Wake Forest, and I wish we would have had that. We had a copy of Tinton Alley, and that was pretty much it. So I think that's really phenomenal. Quickly, just to point out, this project is supported by a grant from the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality. So the spirit of this presentation is really to improve patient safety by doing a better job of teaching mass casualty triage. I'm working on this project with some other emergency physicians, and we have some collaborators at the University of Michigan. We plan on rolling this out to medical students and residents and emergency providers throughout the country. I'm really thankful and lucky to get to work with the Advanced Center for Computing Arts and Design at Ohio State. These are the people at Ohio State that go out and work for Pixar and Xbox. So when I walk in for our meetings, I walk by Moana and Frozen, and I get like PTSD of when my daughter was in the princess phase of her life. But it's really an honor to work with them. So, unfortunately, folks, every time I come to this meeting, there's a session on something that happened. So when we were in San Diego, we had a session about the Boston Marathon bombings. And unfortunately, this session right now is up against another session in another room that's talking about the shooting that happened here in Las Vegas. And that particular session is talking about how patients were triaged and how patients were treated. And this is a really important topic. And unfortunately, there's guidelines surrounding this, but a lot like toxicology, it's hard to have a placebo mass casualty event. This is a very hard thing to study. So our whole plan here was to put together a virtual reality simulation that would help providers learn how to do mass casualty triage and how to take care of victims of a mass casualty incident. And we've had some experience doing this with analog simulations. So just recently, the OSU police helped us with an active shooter simulation where students were taught stop the bleed, SALT triage, and how to barricade and survive an active shooter in a room. But I can tell you that the OSU Police Department gave up a week pretty much to help us with this. We had to close a building on campus. We had 6 or 7 faculty. The resources that we had to use for that were incredible. So our proposal here is to put together a VR simulation of a mass casualty incident following a subway bombing. And what we want to do is assess the simulation and then package this and bring it out to other institutions and to EMS providers to allow them to experience this. So we're developing this across popular VR systems. So right now, for those of you that are VR, we're using Oculus, Vive, and Odyssey. And I wanted to bring that along, but 7 minutes isn't really enough time to do all of that. But hopefully maybe next year we'll be able to do that. We do have dialogue that we're building into the sim. It's not there yet. But our goal is to have an automated assessment of people who go into the simulation and can treat the victims. So I have a movie that I'm going to show for you. So you can kind of see how it works. We've been working on this. All right, here it is, the subway bombing. They told me the scene was safe, but I want to just make sure I check. It looks like we have 5 victims. If you can hear my voice, I want you to walk over here. Walk over here behind me where it's safe. If you can hear my voice, I want you to wave. Okay, sir, I'm going to be right with you. All right, I need to assess the still patients first. Oh, no. All right, it looks like you have some bleeding. Let me get my bag out. I am not a trained actor. I'm going to put a tourniquet on. Let's get one on down here. All right, 3 tourniquets on. All right, can you follow commands? Let me feel your pulse. So there's haptic feedback for each pulse, and we can give each patient whatever pulse we want. Bleeding that's stopped. I think you need a red tag. We're going to immediately get you the help you need, okay? I'll be right back. All right, sir. This guy looks like he was in Westeros on Sunday. I have no pulse. I'll try to position his airway. That's my Game of Thrones reference for y'all. All right. Not going to waste any more time. Sir. Okay, it looks like you're bleeding. I'm going to help you. Let me get my bag. I got a tourniquet. Actually. So each patient has a time limit that they will actually bleed out and become unresponsive if they're not assessed quickly enough by the provider. If one tourniquet doesn't stop the bleeding, you can apply a second. Let me just come around you real quick. All right, can you follow commands? Can you wave to me? You were able to wave before. Okay, good. And I feel you have a good pulse. Not in respiratory distress, but definitely has a major hemorrhage. I'm going to give you this red tag, okay? Somebody will be right with you. All right. Now let me go over here and assess these folks. So a little bit about the avatar system we're using.
A universal avatar system in which one character asset can be modified to fit many needs. The system has settings that assign specific characteristics to an individual patient, like triage category, heart rate, expressive behavior, clothing, body pose, and more. Further character variation is possible through customization of body types and skin tones. The system can also display any type of injury used in the simulation, as well as set the required life-saving treatments associated with those injuries. This allows for many different combinations of mild or serious trauma primed for interaction in the triage process. These patients can be positioned anywhere in the environment to create customizable scenarios with specific arrangements and numbers of patients for triage.
So in sum, we're working to develop a virtual reality triage mass casualty incident where learners can experience triage. There's gamification where we can make the scenarios harder. The patients can bleed out. We can put as many patients in there as we want, and we can increase the difficulty. So I'm hoping that in the future we'll be able to bring this out to you all here at SAEM. That's all I have. Thank you.
Great work. Judges.
Yeah, thanks. This is really obviously pretty bleeding edge technology, I think, within the realm of education. Sorry about the pun. I think the potential to immerse a learner in an environment which is extremely difficult and resource intensive to SIM is great. It obviously takes a lot of effort and work to get this up and going, but once it's up and going and refined, the ability to kind of distribute it elsewhere and implement it and with relatively low costs will be awesome.
Yeah, especially reproducing some of the chaos. That was obviously a very controlled scenario, but just reproducing the I don't know what I'm getting into, I think will be huge for learners. Don't appreciate the Game of Thrones spoiler. Don't know.
Oh.
But that's fine. Overall, super exciting. Great job.
Great. Yeah, I think I honestly didn't think we had that level of fidelity of VR as a civilization, so that's pretty impressive. And I think, as someone who's fortunately not had to deal with in these kind of situations, but having had some time in SimForum, being able to, have the first time not be a real time with real patients and being able to get exposure in that kind of environment just seems absolutely fantastic. Nice work.
All right, nice job. So the poll is open on Twitter. For those of you in the room, we'll just vote with raising our hands, but feel free to tweet out to your friends and colleagues that they should jump onto Twitter and vote. And what we're going to do is do first a poll with a show of hands. So the judges are going to help me count because I'm not fast enough to probably pull this off as quickly as we need to. So we'll go just in the order of presentation. So first of all, Dr. Carlos Rodriguez's presentation of jeffvm.org. Go ahead and raise your hands. Woo! Keep your hands up. We're still counting. Keep your hands up. Sorry, don't clap. That was my fault. Don't clap.
There's another one over there, so 8, 9, 10.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Dr. Cleavon Gilman's presentation of Cleavon MD. Wait, don't confuse us by clapping. If you're ready to raise your hands, raise your hands. But if you want to clap as well, that's fine too. Just one hand, please. Thank you. I'm looking at you there with the jean jacket. Let me know when you guys have it. Good. All right, great, thank you. And then number 3, EM Board Bombs, the podcast and site from Wake Forest with Dr. Blake Briggs. There's clearly a Wake Forest contingent up here. All right, great. And then last, Dr. Nick Kman, professor, by the way, Nick Kman, who was promoted to professor this year, so a rare thing in emergency medicine. Well done, sir. From The Ohio State University, who
You can
showed
clap for
us
the promotion.
VR in mass casualty. Go ahead and raise your hands and keep them up. All right, great, thank you. So now what's happening is the judges are tallying up the votes, and they're actually chatting amongst themselves, deciding who they would vote for as well. And we're also simultaneously getting a total from the SAEM Twitter account. So give us just literally 2 minutes while we figure all this out. All right, so it was close, but actually while it was close, we did definitely have a clear winner in that we had a winner for the Twitter poll from the judges and for the hands in the room. So, Dr. Cleavon Gilman, come on up. I'm going to have to go check out your raps myself. Those were really, really impressive. Well done. Yeah, I know. I feel like you should just take the next 5 minutes and perform, too. Congratulations. We've got two things for you. So first of all, we've got the certificate from SAEM's Got Talent. It's the best of this year. And then on top of that, we went out. You guys can't see it because it's really small and it's from Etsy. But there's a little tiny Las Vegas sign that has SAEM's Got Talent on it as well, just for you. Nicely done, sir. Well done. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming. And, oh, wait, one more picture right here. Thank you very much for coming to SAEM's Got Talent. We're going to do this again next year. Feel free to please tweet all about all the great presenters today. Thank you. Nice job, sir. Actually, let me put it in here. You're going to take it home.
So quick special thanks to Ali Raja, who not only did a great job of moderating, but kept us on our to-the-minute schedule. And we are done at 3:49.